December 7th,
CPR.
2021.
CPR.
I'm glad you all could come. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight's a very special night for us because we're going to honor Dick DeWater for 24 years of service, Jean Walker for over 16 years of service, and Lynn Bender for her 4 years of service as at-large counsel. So I would like to do it individually, and I would like to start with Dick.
So I don't know how you're all gonna get by.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll have to put up. Dick has served for our city for over 24 years. He's been on planning and zoning, he's been on council, and lastly, to serve as mayor. We have a lot of respect for Dick. He's always been that calm in the middle of the storm, even though some people don't agree. And he has served us well. We appreciate him stepping up to the plate this past year and serving as mayor.
I did enjoy it.
And you're missed, just so I let you know that as well. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I was telling Ron that this is the first council meeting in 24 years that I've been on this side. I like it.
Thanks, Nick.
And Jean Walker. Whose computer am I gonna fix? Mine. Jean Walker has served for over 16 years for the city. He has been on our Park and Rec Board. He has been a counselor. He has been on hardship and grievance for how many years?
7 or 8.
Okay, a long time. Anyway, he has also been involved in our community. He's been involved in the Boys and Girls Club. He's been involved in the good old days. There's so many things that I can't probably even name them all that he's been involved in our community. We really appreciate your service and you will be missed. So, thank you.
We'll get you back or something.
No.
Come around front, Dad.
Oh, gosh. No standing on for me, just 4 years.
Yes. So, we can't do it without you. So, Lynn Bender, she has served with us for 4 years, counselor at large. And she came in as this really, really timid gal. She didn't want to speak, she didn't want to give her opinion, and she just blossomed from there. And so sometimes what does happen when you serve for the city. So we appreciate your dedication, we appreciate your hard work, and we appreciate you being here. Because without people running for boards and council and mayor and volunteers, we need them so much for all of the boards, like even Park. For commissions, we have several commissions right now that are available, so step up to the plate like some of these people have, so thank you. Roll call.
Roll call. Siebel,
Here.
Osborne.
Here.
Bender.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Beam.
Here.
And now for the approval of the regular, November 16th regular minutes.
So be it.
Second.
Now for the approval, number 7 of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, wait, the roll call? Yeah. I think it
Okay, Siebel.
Here, yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Bender.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Beam.
Yes.
And the motion.
Motion.
Yeah, that was the motion.
Who was it?
Oh, that's okay. I don't know, I didn't write it down. You can listen to it. So all in favor of approving the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Second. Ayes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8 is approval of the resolution calendar. May I have a motion, please? Oh, there is a slight amendment. I received a call from Tom today with Park Board, and we had a computer glitch on the rates. So you have an amended resolution copy in front of you. So it's going to be as amended. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve as amended. Second.
Those amended, the first ones that you got were last year's, for the last 6 years.
Okay.
So the one that you got tonight is the new one that'll start in April.
Excellent, thank you.
Siebel.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Bender.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Beam.
Yes.
Number 9 is appointment. Megan Cross as acting city clerk, appointed by council.
I'll make a motion to appoint Megan Cross as acting city clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 6567 will be setting compensation for the city clerk. May I have a motion, please?
Can I ask a question on this?
Yes.
I just wanted to, when I see that it says on here that the city council, or be it resolved that the city council of Evansdale, that the said wage for the city clerk will be eligible for an increase of $1,000. I just want some clarification on that.
Yes, as we discussed, that was an annual increase. So that would be divided by 2,080 hours.
Okay, and then the proposed wage that is listed on here, is that with that increase or?
No, that is not.
Okay.
You're welcome. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Siebel.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Bender.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Beam.
Yes.
Number 12 is request from mayor to purchase an office computer from Computer Troubleshooters in the amount of $2,065.47.
For the mayor's office, like you found.
Actually, we've switched all the computers, like I have mine still, because I have obviously so many files on there that I will need going forward. And then Megan will have hers, and then this will be one for the front office.
I'll make a motion for the mayor to purchase an office computer in the amount of $2,065.47. Second.
For approval, please. Ace?
Yay.
Yes.
Any nays, please?
But she's good.
Okay.
And did we miss one?
We missed the 11.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. It seemed easy when you're not sitting here, to be honest with you. Number 11 was request from mayor to advertise for administrative clerk.
Question, is this a full-time position or part-time?
It would be full-time. We're open to start out part-time. Because nothing's set in stone at this point. We're actually gonna do some research and probably bring it back to you.
Will this be a 90-day review thing as far as whoever will be hired to relook at it in 90 days?
Absolutely.
I make a motion to approve the request of the mayor to put out for advertising for administrative clerk position openings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Number 13 is request from fire chief to purchase additional Lucas device for ambulance number 2 in the amount of $15,312.44 from Stryker. The cost will be offset in the amount of $6,000 as the police association will be donating that, essentially giving the city a grant.
Fire Association.
Fire association.
I'll go with police.
Thank you for clarification. I'll take a motion. Does anyone have any questions for Fire Chief Ryan?
I'd make a motion to approve the fire chief's request.
Okay.
Just wondering where the additional funds are the funds in the budget okay for that?
Actually, I was reviewing the American Rescue Funds, and we would be able to use the American Rescue Funds for that because it is for public safety. So that's where we would draw them out of.
I'll second that.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Number 14 is request from fire chief to purchase 2 scoop stretchers in the amount of $1,193.78 from Boundtree. I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request from the fire chief to purchase the 2 scoop stretchers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? 15 is authorized mayor to sign memorandum of understanding and grant application with Intercog for grant writing services for a RISE grant for the Eagles Landing Phase 2 project. We'd initially talked to Intercog about writing, about if we would even be eligible for a RISE grant because of the type of properties we're looking for in that commercial development. So I didn't think we'd go anywhere with it. But what we could be looking for in that Phase 2 project is like warehousing, even if you had like a larger call center that may employ like 200 people, because what the RISE is for employee-based. It's expanding, basically expanding Iowa, bringing people from maybe other states or what have you. So they said, this is the tricky part. They said we can go ahead and apply for it, and we could even go through the project, but if we didn't have anybody that would purchase land within so amount of time, and I think that's like within 5 years, then we'd have to pay the money back. So that's the catch. So, of course, this would be a process, and at any time, during that process, we can say, we decided to back off. If we're not, getting more interest in that development, especially if we're not showing any more interest in Phase 1. But this is an opportunity for us to get it all finished, so it all,
If we get the
flows
grant,
through.
if we were to be awarded the grant, how long do we have to use that money before we would lose it?
That's a good question.
We
I
could
can
just set
find
up
out.
the money till we get somebody ready to spend and pay it back.
Right. Yeah. Do you want me to ask that?
I think it'd be a very good question to know the answer to.
Do you want a motion to table then, Jean?
No, I just, I let the other council go, let's I just think we should know if we can sit on that money, maybe for a year and a half, so we know what we got, instead of spending it, and then how we gonna pay it back.
That's a great question.
I don't think we spend it, Gene, unless we have a project.
Yeah, I don't either.
So we might have them fund, but if we don't meet the qualifications of funds later, we're not having the intention to spend it.
I understand that, but how long before we lose
Yeah,
it
that's a
is
good
my
question.
question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
How long before we lose it?
Good question.
And, the people writing the grants, I think I read the contract saying that they would get a percentage.
only if the grant was approved.
So if it wasn't, then
That is correct.
And they're probably looking to attach it to a project.
Yes.
Why don't we do this, why don't we table this until the next meeting, and you can have that answer from
Okay.
at that time. So I make a motion, we table this.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 16 is request from Public Works Director to replace a street light at the corner of Lafayette and Sippel in the amount of $7,411.23. This is with Blackhawk Electric, and it's going to be paid in full by Progressive Insurance. Just to give you a little history, 2 streetlights hit by drunk drivers in the past, 8 months? Oh, I guess that happened in June, so the past 6 months. The one on Sippel and Lafayette is the worst. The other one is one of the brand new ones that we just put up 2 years ago at City Hall. That one can be painted. We've had the body shop look at that, and he could do that once spring comes. We just kind of got to move it back into place. The other one, we had been working with Blackhawk just because we knew it was going to go through insurance. You have a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve the request for the streetlight replacement from the Public Works Director.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Request from Community People Service to repair pump at Michigan Lift Station in the amount of $2,691.45 with Quality Pump. This is something that we got approved on the 2nd of December verbally, and he has started that.
I'll make a motion to approve the pump for People Service and for the Michigan Lift Station in the amount of $2691.45.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Request from mayor to send out request for quote for our FY22 audit. As you've seen in your packet, the state auditor's office has sent this to many cities. They're no longer going to be doing our audit.
Make a motion to allow them to send out the quotes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Request from mayor to purchase Eagles Landing signs with print transformation. There was 3 different signs with 3 different sizes that you saw in your packet. There was one that was 4 by 8, 8 by 8 and 8 by 12. So we could purchase one. We talked about putting them on the corners of Doris Drive and Evansdale Drive, putting them 30 feet back with an arrow that would actually face to our development. You don't know if you need an arrow?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
this is a huge project. But you're talking about putting 2 at the entrance, right?
Yes, but it's gonna be out on Evansdale Drive, not,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, we would technically be taking McDonald's and Hardee's and Days Inn into the Eagles Landing project, really. Technically, because that's going to be the only road that leads to that project.
Yeah.
My goal was going with 2 of the 4 by 8s on each corner, and then, top them off, doing possibly the Orange line up along the interstate side. the 8x12.
Okay.
Definitely something at the entrance.
Okay.
That's my thought.
In the pack, and I'm kind of leaning towards, that's one part, but advertising out on the billboard on the interstate, we can get a 3 it's pretty reasonable. If we really want to go at this and get advertising out there and get it seen, I went out there and drove a couple times at night, looked at them coming in, I think it'd be a great, and we have the funds to do it. So I think we should do that as well. I mean, let's really get it and have it out there, highway and where she's talking, so that we're really promoting and people see it, you know what I mean? 70 mile an hour, you're gonna see the billboards. An 4x8 or 4x12 or I don't know if that really be seen out there, Charlie.
So right now, I'd like to make a motion for the mayor to purchase 2 4x8 Eagles Landing signs to be placed on Evans,
Okay.
I'm where?
Evansdale.
Evansdale.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna add to that motion?
No. We'll just get those two now.
And I think it's money well spent being out there letting traffic coming in on the interstate, to have it going over there showing that there's development. Let's face it, at night, you're not gonna see a thing ever, but you're gonna have a lighted sign, and it's a reasonable price.
The only thing that concerns me is the timing right now. Would we want to advertise right now, or would we rather advertise in the future when all the infrastructure is done and there's maximum movement in that area? Because right now, I mean, if we're looking at only doing 4 months, those 4 months will fly by and be gone, and we're still coming out of the COVID scenario. I would like to kind of visit that later as the project progresses, and then, sure, I'm with you. But right now, I'm more or less looking for a little bit of city pride and a little bit of pride from us to show that we're going to get into this thing, and it's going to go.
But what do you think the one out on the highway, 12 is gonna do? No lighting on it. You'll never see it once dark comes till the next day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of $1,000 expense that's half wasted, at least in my mind.
Well, and that's why I said 2 of the 4x8, one for each one. And then,
And I can see his point, because the electrical and the gas and the streetlights, they're not gonna be installed until between now and March. So maybe it'd be best suited and served to start that campaign
that
in March or
period,
April.
As long as we don't drop the intentions of doing it.
No.
That's my concern.
No, I think I'm with you, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure we
Are
want to
we
do it
locked in?
until it's lit up.
Is that gonna be a different price if we wait 3 to 4 months?
I'll definitely check,
Yeah, I'd like to know
Yeah.
the price.
because I know that one 3-month one was a special rate.
Right.
She told me that, you know, I mean, I can check and respond back to you guys tomorrow.
Or find out possibly if they can look at starting at the end of March.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Type scenario.
Get locked in right now on the price and then,
Yeah, it's
Signing the agreement.
that we're gonna do it come March.
Correct.
I go along with that.
And basically just bring it back to us, because if we need a motion to say, okay, we're gonna do it,
yeah.
with contract signed
Yes.
and look at the end of March.
And can I have a second on that then?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ordinance 680, amending provisions pertaining to the library board in its first reading. This was actually approved on the ballot, so this is just for our books. And I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve the new ordinance.
Second.
And that will be a roll call.
Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Yes.
Would you consider waiving second and third readings?
I make a motion, we waive the second for review, suspend the rules.
Second?
Roll call?
Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Yes.
And a motion to adopt.
I'd make a motion that we adopt it at this time.
Second?
and we've got Siebel,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, number 21, request from mayor to publish notice of hearing regarding the adoption of the new ward boundaries. So once you have a census, and the last time we did this was back in 2010, you have to reportion your wards. So we will need to publish, I just found out 2 days ago from the county that they're only giving them, the state is only giving them until January 15th to do this. So we're gonna have to kind of push it through. So we will have a public hearing, and hopefully our engineer will have our ordinance ready, because it's pretty technical, at our next meeting. And I'll have a motion for that.
I'll make that motion to proceed with that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So it's the ward map. So in the ward map, you can only have, you have to strategically place how many ever people that come back on the census. So right now it's like 1140 in each section, because there's the 4 wards. So you can only have 1140 people in each section. So,
And that's what the engineers is.
Actually, they had it was called a redistricting program through the state of Iowa. So I just went in there and it was awesome. I am saying this so because I was involved in the last one, it was awful. So you just click these sections and it gives you totals on the bottom. It's so fabulous. And then I just take that map and you have to be within 10% of the variance within each ward. So, and then we take that map and we submit it to our engineer, and then he has to do all the legal of the boundaries on each of the wards.
For the census, could you tell what the ward grew?
We didn't. We actually, which I was gonna discuss, under your council reports. So, yeah, it'll be, I think we can pull it together within the allotted time here, once I get the map to send to our engineer. Number 22 is discussion, possible action, 111 Bright Street. As you've all noticed, that property's been torn down. Everything is completed with that project, and we've had a lot of response from the surrounding neighborhood saying how much they appreciated us. So kudos to the council. The process took us about 1.5 years, and it cost us $6,200 that was city funds. It really wasn't supposed to go down that way. It wouldn't cost us as much, but it did. Now, we have 2 people that are interested in that lot. In the past, we had used a ruling of about 0.8 cents per square foot, which would be like, I was thinking of taking it out for bid, of course, so it's fair. So it'd start at $923 total.
I was thinking $6,200.
Yeah. That's what I might go.
I think Mary D. Waters said that it wasn't for $10 to him.
I think
So
most people don't realize how small that piece of property is.
it's only 9,900 square feet, which is like, what, maybe 1/4 of an acre. It's barely usable. So I would entertain a motion to proceed with going forward to put that out for bid.
I'd make the motion that you proceed to amend it.
Otherwise, we have to maintain it. We have to-
I'll second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion, possible action. I had put a drawing out in front of you tonight. When Lucas sold their business, Kenny Quam with Kenny Quam Trucking had purchased all those 4 lots to the nearest to Brown Street, the 4 lots you see there. He's had some visitors all hours of the days, sometimes in the evenings. So he has asked the city, you can see there's a line drawn from the brown roof to across the street, which would be on city property. He'd like to place an electronic gate. Now, we would have access to that at all times, because there is a fire hydrant back there. I had talked to our city attorney about it, and she recommended we could just do simply an agreement. That we would, it's gonna be mostly open during the day. He's still gonna maintain, because during the winter months, we push snow back there, and he's still gonna maintain that for us. And we'd have access to it 24/7. The police department, the fire department, public works.
This is the
But
old
he's-
Lucas property, isn't it?
Yes, but he's gonna put a fence up to kind of stop people going back there, they're loitering or whatever they're doing back there in the dark.
You need a motion to let him do it?
I do.
I will make that motion to allow Mr. Kwan to put up a fence and electric gate that we have access to.
Second.
What? Yeah. Yeah, I just went totally blank.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Okay, public
Did we
discussion.
vote on that? Did I miss it?
Yeah, the first round is always a charm. Public discussion, non-agenda items.
I had a question, I have 3 questions actually.
Would you please list your name and
Sure.
address?
I'm sorry, my name is Kelly Parker and I live on Marion Street. Number 11, I wanted to know what changed to warrant that we need another position with the administrative clerk.
What had changed is, well, we had a full-time mayor, a full-time city clerk, and a full-time deputy clerk. Now we have a full-time mayor and a full-time deputy clerk.
I see, so you're just trying to advertise the position. Sorry, I misunderstood with the wording.
Okay.
And then I had a question about the computer. I had to buy a computer last year, I think, and I got a pretty good one for maybe $600. I want to know what made this computer special that we need to pay so much for it.
Well, it goes on a network, so the network works with every computer in our office, as well as Public Works and other departments are also able to log on because it has to connect to our server. So, and we do buy Dell. And it's a desk model, it's not a laptop. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty expensive, but I don't know what you know about this. And then I had a question about the Lucas device. How often is that utilized by our first responders? And what is the longevity of that equipment?
Ryan, would you please answer that question?
Far as being used, you never know. We've had both ambulance out on cardiac arrest at one time. It may go for a few months without being used. It's just medical, you don't know. And by the time you get the first ambulance out with the Lucas device on it, second ambulance is calling out for cardiac arrest. You're not only short people, but you don't have the device on there It's nice to have both ambulances set up identical.
That makes sense. And I did actually reach out to Rob yesterday, and we actually had 3 instances in the last year where that actually did happen. So, and another benefit of that Lucas device is you could literally have the driver and either the EMT, right, or the paramedic.
It's like having one other person there.
It's like having an extra
That
person
don't get worn out.
in the vehicle with you.
Go ahead, Justin.
No, it's just, it's actually replaces 2 bodies.
Okay,
Because you try to do chest compressions on somebody for the longevity of a 30-plus minute call, trying to work a cardiac arrest, you try and do it for 5 minutes, every single person in this room will be on the floor panting and probably keeling over themselves. So that's why they put 2 people on chest compressions, is we will alternate every 2 minutes just to kind of help save that strength and quality of compressions. This device not only takes care of those 2 people, it also, without getting overly technical into all the studies and anything, the number 1 issue with CPR in the field is inadequate chest compressions. Not hard, not fast enough. This device is specifically calibrated to do both of those exactly set to how it should be done. Deep enough and at the right rate. So now it takes the human error component out of it on top of saving additional 2 bodies to run a cardiac arrest.
And the 3 incidents that you spoke of, these guys could probably speak to it also. I think at least one of those, that person is still alive. One person is still alive.
Yeah. What is the longevity of that equipment?
Really based on use, I wanna say so it's repairable, it's serviceable, just like a lot of the equipment is. We've had the existing one now, which was awarded, we didn't even really have the knowledge of them until a grant came through and approached us. Because now every agency in Blackhawk County got one. Just out of trying to provide this healthcare to rural agencies, but we happened to fall into the right thing, so this $15,000 device was just given to us. All we had to do was attend the training.
Which really helps because we have volunteer firefighters who don't always have all the bodies.
Yep.
To maintain that. I really appreciate you taking the time to explain why we need it and how it supports our team. Thank you. Thank you, John.
As far as your question, Kelly, longevity wise, I wanna say the last device we're working on is 7 years, Ryan?
Getting close, yeah.
So, and still running strong, so
Awesome.
no signs of slowing down,
It's
slowing
like,
down.
that's not an AED, so like,
No,
what is this?
it is a wonderful tool.
I'm glad to hear that.
Laura Munson on Michigan Drive. And I just want to show you guys real quick here on the map what I'm talking about, this area right here. People are coming off the highway and they're going super fast on the highway. They don't quite get rid of that lead foot before they turn right down Michigan. So we've got a little bit of a problem with people abusing this area of road, specifically in the springtime. It gets really bad with teenagers that are getting fresh on their cars, licenses, that kind of thing. I'm wondering if we can put a yield sign right here or a stop sign, just to kind of slow people down in general. We've got a lot of kids in the area that are playing in the street at this point. We got a lot of kids ages 8 to 14 that are playing out in the street. I myself was chasing my dog and about got run over by a car. And the guy had no interest in slowing down or stopping. To hear me say, "My dog is loose, please drive slowly," he wanted to argue with me about it. I don't really want to deal with that, neither do the rest of the neighbors in this area. Sometimes we
where
get,
is the side street?
it's Second Avenue, and I understand that this is a dead-end road right here, but this is a good break. Is about halfway down, so people that are getting ready to go on the highway, that might be coming from Burr Oak, going towards the interstate or towards McCoy, it wouldn't really be troublesome to them at all. But the people that are coming the other direction off the highway, maybe a yield sign right here on Jewel. And then another one or a stop sign on Second and Michigan. Is that something that we can look at getting done before next spring?
Council would approve that, but we can look into it.
Okay,
I just
and,
don't know why so many people are going down Michigan.
I'd like to know that too.
My mom lives on that street.
I'd like to know that too, and it seems to have become a little bit of a drag racing strip at certain times of the year. And I really don't understand why. So that's the only solution I think we can come up with it, aside from wasting police resources and making them stand out there for hours and then have nobody come by. It doesn't happen that often, it's not that big of a deal, but when it does happen, it's scary. And it really picks up in the spring.
I think a great tool for that, Laura. I understand what you're saying, but if we had our police chief, maybe put our speedo thing out there in that area of concern, and that we can track to see just how fast people are going in that area before we go to the expense of something else. We've got the cart that can tell us, you know, are we, got a lot of speeders, is it an occasional speeder?
Yeah, it's
He's
an
been-
occasional thing.
He's been putting them around town, and I can say it's made a difference on some streets, it's been out again. I would suggest if, Chief Dean could do that in that area and just see what it.
Does it have a camera? Does that
No,
thing have a
but if you
camera?
go by there enough, and you see you're speeding, you're probably gonna get stopped at some point.
Unfortunately, the people that are doing this aren't just your common travelers, it's mostly teenage boys in the springtime. And this time of year, it's winter time, they're not as rambunctious as they are come spring. So I don't know that this is the greatest time of year to collect that data. I don't know how much a stop sign or a yield sign would cost, but I think that that would just be the simplest solution in general. I mean, you can put that little device up there and that's great, but it's hit or miss, you know? We have a lot of race car guys in the area, so I don't know if maybe some of them have influenced or inspired the younger drivers, we
Is there a
could say.
particular time this goes on, or
No.
it's just sporadic?
It's just sporadic, it's no particular time. But this is a long stretch of road, and you can really get up to speed before you get to McCoy. And I don't think, if people are coming this way and they are going fast, I don't think they even start slowing down until they get about to here. And if they're coming this way, they don't start slowing down until they get about to here. So, yeah, you can put up the sign and the speed thing, which is great, but honestly, I think they might use it against our intended purposes.
Just a thought for the chief, if it's not viable, I understand, but I think it's something the chief's gonna have to look at, street department's gonna have to look at, and then let's make a decision if it's a valid purpose to do that in that section of road. Which I'm not saying we're gonna ignore, but I think there's a few entities that have to look at it,
Sure.
come up with a thought of what we're gonna do on it.
So can we have something figured out so that we can get this on the agenda by the end of January, so we got time?
Well, I would recommend, since it's happening in the spring,
Right.
that we have some extra patrol in the spring. I mean, that's feasible, isn't it? And putting that.
Doesn't that cost us
in
more
the
money
spring
though?
Sure, we can certainly take a look at it.
In order to get a handle on it. I mean, isn't that what you'd recommend,
Yeah, absolutely.
Chief Dean?
All right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say, I think Deanne's gonna be a pretty good mayor. You know, I tried to get this Eagles Landing sign approved. First one.
You need to state your name and address.
Would you state your name up there, sir, for the record?
Wanna come up?
No, it's all right.
Okay, my name's Kathy Pritchett, I live on Brookside. And yeah, we got our first woman mayor in Evansdale, like that.
They can't talk.
Okay. Hey, we've got this new infrastructure bill that's just been passed. And I know that on the water bill, they've been saving towards the sewer plant. Is there any way we can get some of that money or is it already in the works? We can't do it.
Well, you know, we are having special funding for that project. And we also are applying for a $600,000 grant. That's not a lot, but it offsets the cost.
Yeah.
Those will all be in progress. In the infrastructure, that new bill that they just passed, We haven't seen anything on it.
Yeah, it's not, nothing's came down the pipe
It's no,
yet.
it hasn't trickled down yet.
Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on it.
Okay. But trust me, if we do, yes.
Yeah, we're gonna make Evansdale great. We're gonna make it
Yeah, exactly. So, Mayor Council reports, thank you for putting up with me this evening. My first time, I didn't think it was gonna be this difficult. Just give you the heads up, City Attorney Laura Folkerts has given her notice that she will no longer represent the city of Evansdale. She was actually representing 7 different cities. She went to college to be a labor attorney, and has decided to pursue that portion of her career. However, that being said, Josh Moon, who, Brian with code enforcement and Chief Dean with the police department have been working with him since we initiated the agreement with them back in 2015,
Yeah,
2016?
we worked together for many years.
So I think they were really shocked compared to our former attorney before that team, because hours and hours would be billed to the city for the time that they meet with police officers, right?
Yes.
I met with him, I also, if you guys would like to meet with him before we consider an appointment in January, I could have him come to the next meeting.
I think that'd be nice to have him come introduce himself and see what he's got to say, whatever.
Okay,
Did you ever talk to the young that's in the same office as
yes,
attorney?
yes.
There's a young man that's really sharp.
Yes, the one thing that we really like about Dutton Law Firm is there's so many on their team. So if you have we've used them on the federal side even because we're having some issues with the IRS. Long story back in a million years ago, but they can pull from each other. They have a real estate attorney in there, if it's a real estate type transaction. So, and it costs us the same. We don't have to pay for all these different attorneys because they have all these different attorneys that specialize in different things throughout their office. So it's been a great working relationship so far. And normally, after public discussion, it's mayor and council have their opportunity. So after we're finished, okay? I just received the anti-degradation alternatives. This is gonna be going to the DNR. This is for the wastewater plant. If anyone would like to have me email them a copy, or if they would like to peruse a copy in the office, it's available. We have to publish notice on this, doesn't require council's approval. But the public has 30 days to comment about it. So if you're really into wastewater and anti-degradation and maps of the wastewater plants, and have at it. It's available for 30 days. I want to extend invitation to council. Just a reminder of our Christmas luncheon. The employees and council and former mayors are all invited. That'll be now on the 17th of December instead. So we look forward to you coming. You don't have to bring anything. We'll be happy to serve you. Just a reminder for those who haven't heard, I will be ringing the bell for Salvation Army in the freezing cold weather on Saturday, 38 degrees, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Please come. If you donate even $1, it's gonna make a difference.
Where are you reading it?
Fairway.
Is it a competition between the cities
Well,
again, or?
I've been trying to refrain from keeping it a competition because I'm very competitive. I've thought about going door to door begging for money. So just tell your friends and family, just drop a couple dollars off, and it'd be great to beat Waterloo.
Yeah.
I think they're calling for
So, council,
I just wanted to say one thing to Laura's comment and Chief Dean. I think if that's an issue in the spring, I sure hope that we do the speed sign and things, because on Evans Road, when you put it out a week ago, like I told you, it's done a tremendous difference on Evans. So I know it makes a difference if people see it on a regular basis that it's out there and you're being monitored. We may not catch everybody, but it will make a corrective action to some of what's going on, along with his assistance, what his policemen do. So I just want to put that out there.
Honorable Mayor, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome you to the hot seat. And wish you the very best for the next 2 years, and I know you will do great.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close.
You have a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
You want to adjourn?
Yeah.
I'll for you.